Thanks, Julian, and thanks, Pritu, for having me for a second time. I guess I was not that boring in the first part for you to welcome me again another time. So for the people who are not here in the part one, I will just give a quick summary about the Northeast in general, and then we'll dive directly in the second part. So in a few words, the Northeast is quite vast. It's packed between Bhutan, Bangladesh on the south, Burma, and Tibet on the north. So it's one of the 10 most important biodiversity hotspot in the world. Actually, it's two biodiversity hotspots. One is the Himalayan on the north, and one will be the Indo-Burma on the southeast. It has around 37 national parks and 137 wildlife sanctuaries. It has more than 150 species of birds, which is like more than 2/3 of the bird species you will find in India. And among them, there will be 50 globally threatened and 30 near threatened species. It is completely out of the beaten tracks from tourism. I was telling Julian, even the mainstream, you can say mainstream national parks like Kaziranga, if you avoid the weekends, you will be completely alone in the national parks. Nameri also, sometimes you can walk alone in the park. Ulongapa also, there's all the main name you will hear about the Northeast. Sometimes it's completely empty. So I was talking just before about the biodiversity hotspot. Here you will see all of them. But what is interesting for us is this one, the Himalayan one on the north, and the big purple one in the middle, which is the Indo-Burma. So you can see the Northeast is just sitting on both this biodiversity hotspot. So the diversity of wildlife and of avifauna is incredible. So I was telling you, it's just tucked between Bhutan, Bangladesh, Tibet on the north, and Burma. It's a completely east part of India. And these are the states that we are going to talk about today. So in the first part, we have discussed about Assam and Arunachal Pradesh, which is maybe the biggest and thickest part for birders. Like most of the people will come to these two parts. And today we're going to discuss about the other states which are less known, but not least interesting in terms of birding and wildlife. And some states have some endemic species. So birders will come especially to see one or two species in these states. So to name those states, there is Meghalaya, where I'm actually residing since 5 years. Nagaland, which capital is Kohima, quite famous for his Hornbill Festival. Manipur, which capital is Imphal, which is a Hindu state and very interesting in terms of culture. Then you have Mizoram, which capital is Aizawl. It's a tribal and a Christian state. I will not talk about Tripura this time because all the birds species you can find in Tripura, you will also find them in the other states. And if I have time, or if Julian allow me another one, I can do a third session about the foothills of West Bengal and Sikkim because they are quite close and they can be combined. So let's see how long we're gonna do it. I'm just gonna go directly now to my slide. So last time I stopped in Roing and Mayodhya Pass and all the Mishmi Hills. So I will just do one last slide about NAMDAPHA National Park because it's a very good birding spot, and we didn't have time to cover it last time. So it allowed me to complete it. So you can see in terms of landscape, it's beautiful. You feel like you're in some Jurassic Park movie. And also NAMDAPHA is one of the only places in the world hosting the 4 big cats. So the Bengal tiger, the leopard, the clouded leopard, and the snow leopard, which is quite incredible. These 4 big cats are sharing the same ecosystem. So of course, it's extremely rare and the chances are very slim to see those cats because the portion which is visited in NAMDAPHA, which is quite a big sanctuary, is tiny compared to the entire space of the national park. And just to give you one example, if you want to go to Vijayanagar, which is one of the most remote village situated in the border of the park, it will take you 7 days by walk to reach this place. So 7 days to go, 7 days to come back. Or if you are lucky, you can get a ride back by the army chopper from Vijayanagar to maybe Dibrugarh. So in terms of birding, there are some very beautiful key species which are very difficult to see, or even sometimes impossible to see in the rest of India. NAMDAPHA has 400 species of birds, so it's incredible. You can only find some species like the white-bellied heron. It's on top right. I think with Punakha in Bhutan, it's one of the two only spots where you can have a chance to see this beautiful bird. Just to let you know, there are, according to the records, 250 left in the world, and out of them 50 will be found in India. So 1/5 of the total global population will be found in India. So here you can see him on the Nohadihing River, which is the main river crossing NAMDAPHA National Park. The golden crested myna, very difficult to spot. You see it's beautiful crested, slightly similar to the hill myna. And it's quite difficult to spot because it's generally hiding among flocks of hill myna. So when you see hill myna, always try to look carefully, because one golden crested myna might be hiding nearby. So it's very close from Burma, NAMDAPHA National Park. So you have some species that you will find in both countries, but you will not find them in the rest of India. Among other species that you can find over there, the Blythe's tragopan is there, the blue-napped pitta. People will come especially also to see the snowy throated babbler that you can see here at the bottom right. Beautiful parrotbills here on the picture, the leather rufous-headed parrotbill. Ward's dragon also is present, a beautiful nuthatch, rufous neck hornbill. So the park cannot be visited by jeep safari. You have to cross the Nohadihing river, and then you will trek to the core area of the park. So you will camp in small tents with porters in beautiful places. There's the camps which are named like Hornbill Camp, where you will see rufous-necked hornbill quite easily. But of course, you need to deserve it because you have to trek in thick forest for 5-6 hours. But it's totally worth it. Sometimes elephants can carry your belongings, so you walk along with elephants. So it's an incredible adventure. So after Arunachal, we're going to go directly to Meghalaya. I have divided the state in 2 places because the rest of Meghalaya, you will find the species in the rest of Northeast, but especially in Cherrapunji and in Balpakram National Park, Siju National Park, Bird Sanctuary, and also Nokrek National Park, you can find some species quite easily and that you won't find anywhere else. So Cherrapunji, first, it has a very fragmented habitat because lots of humans are living there. Yet the avifauna of the sacred groves is very diverse. So next to the villages in the Khasi Hills, you will have a sacred grove. So before the Khasi were converted to Christianity, they were nature worshippers, and the forest had a very important part in their worshipping. So not a stone or not even a dead leaf could be carried. The forest had to be completely intact from human disturbance. So it has helped somehow to preserve many species. So here on the pictures, you can see Nokalikai waterfall, so which is one of the highest waterfall in India. And this picture has been taken during monsoon. So if you want to do some birding and some cultural or natural sightseeing, post-monsoon is the best time. That's when the waterfall are fully charged with water. So people will come in Cherrapunji, especially for two species, the dark rum swift, which can be actually seen in the evening near the Nokalika waterfall that you just saw just before. And just before reaching Cherrapunji, there is one spot quite famous for the tawny-breasted wren babbler, which is endemic. So this small bird on the top right will only be found in Cherrapunji area. Apart from these birds, you can find 153 species of birds in Cherrapunji area and around the sacred groves, including 4 threatened species. So the dark rump swift, which is here, the lesser crestel, the gray crowned prinia here below right, the swamp francolin, 3 restricted range species, which is also the dark rumped swift, the strike-throated barwing, and the tawny-breasted wren babbler that I just talked about. It's also a very good spot for flavescent bulbul and crested finchbill. Now we go to the Garo Hills. Garo Hills, so it's on the western side of Meghalaya. It's quite undiscovered in terms of birding. There's still lots of research, lots of naturalists and scientists who are coming in this part to study butterfly and birds. There has been also some traces of red panda over there. So it's still a mystery to know if the red panda has really been living in Balpakram National Park, or if the fur that has been found has been imported, because we are very low, we are very close from the Bangladesh border. So it will be quite impossible for red panda to live in such a hot climate. So in terms of accommodation, it's quite basic. There's only IBs and rest house over there. So for people who have who can put their comfort zone on the lower level. But if you are a birder, you will be delighted by the different species you will find over there. These 2 top pictures have been taken from the garden of the IB, the Impatient Bungalow of Balpakram National Park. There is a big fig tree just behind, and you can see 20 different species of bird during the season. So this is taken in March. So at this time of the year, you will see different species of birds, different species of green pigeon, the beautiful Asian fairy bluebird here on the left, male, female, like collecting the figs. And it's mating season also, so the birds are very loud. It's also a very good place for olive bulbul. I was telling just before the crested finchbill, bottom right here. The high-browed wren babbler, dusky warbler, eastern crown warbler, both are winter visitors. And it's also some tracks of white-winged duck. There's been some evidence proof that it was also visiting the swamps of the sanctuary of the national park. And it's also the only Indian record of the chestnut front or trilling shrike babbler, which has been specimen has been collected by Coles in the Garo Hills in 1954. Otherwise, this bird is only found on Java Island. So God knows how he got himself found in Meghalaya in 1954. So now we are done with Meghalaya. We're going to go to Nagaland. So I will focus on 2 places in Nagaland. One is the Tragopan Wildlife Sanctuary near Khonoma, which is about 20 kilometers from the capital, Kohima. And the second part will be the Doyang Reservoir, very famous for the migration of the Amur falcon. So this is Khonoma village here on the left. You can see some beautiful paddy field. And Khonoma is renowned for its effort to conserve the biodiversity of the surrounding forests with the local Angami community. In Nagaland, you have 16 recognized tribes with lots of sub-tribes. And the Angami community is one of the biggest community in Nagaland. So this community has decided in 1998 to establish the Khonoma Nature Conservation and Tragopan Sanctuary that encompasses 25 square kilometers between their village and another village called Zuleke. So together, they have self-imposed a ban on hunting. So all the villagers have surrendered their guns, and now the birds are protecting in the area. So of course, it is famous for the tragopan as the name of the sanctuary, but there are also many other species and key species that you can find in this area. So the sanctuary is between these two villages and also Zuku Valley, which is very famous for trekking. It's a beautiful valley with dwarf bamboo. If you can trek to this valley, it takes about 4 or 5 hours, and when you arrive there, you feel like you are in the Lord of the Ring. It's completely surreal. So this part of India gets snow in winter. At least it gets frozen, and this Duku Valley is half in Nagaland and half in Manipur. So you can see some beautiful species here, and super species like the mountain bamboo partridge, which is quite a skulker, very difficult to spot because it freezes at any movement. And if you get closer, it will spot you much before. And as soon as you get closer, it will fly off and land in some other part of the valley. So it's quite difficult to see. But there are also Nagaren babbler, which is endemic here on the bottom right. It's called Nagaren babbler or long-tail wen babbler. Chestnut vented nuthatch, and many different species of laughing thrush. Here you can see the Assam laughing thrush, but there's also the mustache, the striped, the brown-capped laughing thrush. Other thrushes also, you can find the black-breasted thrush, some scimitar babbler, like the spot-breasted scimitar babbler, cibia, gray cibia also, crested finch also is quite common over there, striated prinia, rusty-capped fulveta, and some parakeets, the gray-headed parakeet, and of course the Blythe tragopan, which is a state bird, but very slim chance to see it. Now we go to Pangti Valley, and you can see here on the picture the beautiful Doyang Reservoir. So it's a man-made reservoir with the dam. And it's the greatest, you can here witness the greatest raptors migration of the Amur falcon. So the Amur falcon is a super bird because it will travel 2,400 miles from the East Asia. So you can say East China and Mongolia, where it's breeding, to South Africa, where it's wintering. So it will rest and roost in Doyang Reservoir and feed before the daring crossing of the Indian Ocean. The funny fact is that it's not eating meat, and it's not going to chase like rodents like the rest of the raptors. This one is feeding on termites. It's sinking its presence in the reservoir with the nuptial flight of the termites, the flying termites, and which are full of proteins and nutrients necessary for the migration of the bird. And it's also a beautiful conservation effort because this in a remote village, so in this Woka district, Pangti received global attention in 2012 thanks to the journalist Bano Faralu, with a female journalist turned conservationist, who witnessed and reported the killing of thousands of Amur falcon during their annual migration. This highlighted not only the tragedy, but also the mere presence of such incredible numbers of these birds previously not widely known. It's lakhs and lakhs of birds. Sometimes the sky can get dark because of this bird roosting all around the Doyang Reservoir. So after alerted local authorities and getting some national and international help, and also coordinating with the local organization, they've been able to work together with the village councils on the importance of conservation, because before they were of course hunted for their meat. So villagers would raise some nets in the morning and the evening, and they would kill lakhs of these birds. So now all these hunters have been turned into helpers and guides to help the preservation of this bird. So now it's completely hunting-free zone. and it's a major victory in the state, which is still dominated by tribal communities where hunting is a tradition. And now it's a very good example for the rest of Nagaland in terms of preservation. So here you can see the Amo falcon roosting, and so it's happening in November. You can say in the first week of November. You can also see these birds in Assam and even in Meghalaya. There is some roosting sites, but the biggest place where you can see the largest gathering of birds will definitely be this Pangti Valley. And also, it's a good combination with the Toku Emong Festival of the Woka tribe over there. So you can do a little bit of birding, and you can also drive to Woka to witness the beautiful tribal festival, which is of course less known and less touristic than the Hornbill Festival. Apart from the Amo falcon, there's also good places for other raptors, and also for laughing thrush and pita. Now let's jump to Mizoram. Mizoram, there are three main bird spots. I will focus on the Dampa Tiger Reserve, which is at the border with Bangladesh, and also two other places, the Sailam Bird Sanctuary, which is a very new place, and the Phawngpui National Park. So the Dampa Tiger Reserve was once famous for the highest density of clouded leopard in the world. I don't know if it's still relevant today, but it was the case 10 years ago. And the forest of Mizoram hold many threatened animal species, including tiger, the elephant, white elephants, clouded leopard, gore, goral, huluk gibbon, stump-tailed macaque, binturong, fierce-leaf monkey, and many others. But the area is also justly and as famous for its bird, with some great rarities to be found here and only here. So you can see here some beautiful species of birds and primates. Dampa is quite famous for the white-cheeked partridge. If you have a good guide, you can easily find it. Knowing that the Tiger Reserve is struggling against the palm oil farming, which has been pushed by the government. So more and more, the Tiger Reserve is being infringed by the locals to grow palm oil and betel nut trees. It's also a very good spot for the gray slaty woodpecker and the pale chin flycatcher. And you can see also on top right, this is the only place with Tripura and Bangladesh where you can see the fierce-leaf monkey, which is a monkey which has adapted and is only feeding on leaves. Again, the deforestation and the monoculture for example, rubber tree has a big incidence on the population of the fierce-leaf monkey. Apart from that, there's been some records also of blind kingfisher, blue pita also, which is extremely rare in India. Lots of laughing thrush, mustached, striped, rufous-vented, brown-carped, and spot-breasted. Olive and flavescent bulbul also is present in Dampa. Oriental hobby, wedge-bill wren babbler, and purple-throated sunbird. So now we go to Sailam Bird Sanctuary, which is a very good conservation initiative also. The people of the village have dedicated their forest to conservation, and they have even built some cottages for the people to come and enjoy the nature, and especially for birders. So the sanctuary is very famous for the black-eared shrike babbler that you can see here on top left. The sanctuary is 80 kilometers south of Aizawl, the capital. So it's quite easy to just land in Aizawl and then drive directly to Sailam. Very famous also for the white-bellied airpornis. You can see here on top right. Long-tailed broadbill, very loud bird and very easy to spot in spring because it makes lots of noise to find partners and gather and get together. And also the ray-faced locicla, which is a cousin of the Bougounlocycla that we discussed about last session when we were talking about eagle nest. And finally, at the southern point of Mizoram, you have the Phawngpui National Park. So as it is very close from Burma, there is some species that you will only find in this area, at least in India. It's a good species for the white-browed piculate, the chin hill wren babbler that you can see here on top right, some tree creepers, the Manipur and Hume's tree creeper, some babblers, and the gray crown warbler you can see here at the bottom right. All three shrike babblers, the crested finchbill, also flavescent bulbul, and mountain tailor bird. In the family of the parrotbills, you can find the spot-breasted parrotbill, Nepal house martin, which is nesting on the cliffs, brown and russet bush warbler, black-throated prinia, and also the Mount Victoria babax. There's been some records in Phawngpui. Usually you only find it in Victoria National Park in Burma. Now we're heading to Manipur. Manipur, so we're going to discuss two different areas. The first area will be the Loktak Lake and the adjacent Kebul Lamjao National Park. And then we'll head to Shirui Valley. So here you can see a beautiful eye view of Kebul Lamjao, which is, here you can see the Loktak Lake, which is the largest freshwater lake in Northeast, and also the only floating national park in the world. So you can see these small islands made of vegetation, which are sometimes inhabited. You can sometimes build habitation there, and there is a homestay on one of the islands. So it has been in the local news recently, in 2018, with the spotting of the yellow-breasted bunting. It was the first sighting after 92 years. So it was quite encouraging to see that some birds are coming after almost 100 years. They are also creating a sanctuary in Tinunglai village, and it will be one of the national park. Kebul Lamjao National Park is very famous for the brow-antlered deer, which is locally known as Sangai or dancing deer. It's an endemic species to Manipur. Beautiful also in the grass area around the lake, the white-browed laughing thrush, also the slender-billed babbler, and of course lots of ducks and geese are wintering inside the lake. So you can see his beautiful wide-eyed pocha, but you will also see the bear's pocha and more common species like the lesser whistling duck and so on. You will also find some, of course, some kingfishers, pied kingfishers among the most common one. Slender-billed babbler, striated grassbird, yellow bittern, white-tailed stonechat, lesser cuckoo, Burmese shrike, yellow-bellied prinia, Gerdon bushchat, to name only a few. In the Shirui Valley, which is the second part of Manipur we're going to discuss, which is famous for the Shirui lily, a flower, which is also endemic there and is blooming during the monsoon. So this area also is very good for birding. You can see here on top left a gray cibia, but it's also famous for black francolin, crested bunting, different species of minivet, chestnut munia, striated whiskered and strip-throated uina, yellow-bellied fantail. The mountain tailor bird also can be found, beautiful and very difficult to spot tailor bird. So it's very less known and and very interesting place to birding. You can spend at least 2 or 3 days in this valley, in Shirui Valley, to explore the different birding. And the good news is that some homestays who have understood the importance of conservation and also the demand that there is, because there's no other accommodation, have started popping up on both sides, both in Shirui and near next to the Lachen lake, with also the training of local guides. So now we're going to go to the foothills of West Bengal. West Bengal hosting the biggest numbers of birds in India because of its diversity, with the Sundarbans in the south, the plain in the middle, and the Himalayan foothill in the north. So it's really diverse. We're just going to focus right now on the foothills and on Sikkim, if you have some time. So here I'm just going to focus on 3 areas: Latpanchar and Mahananda Wildlife Sanctuary, and then we'll go to Singalila National Park, and we'll finish in Lava and Neora Valley National Park. So Mahananda Wildlife Sanctuary is quite famous for the rufous-necked hornbill, where it's nesting. So in the springtime, you can see the male, which is here in front, who is feeding the female, who has clustered herself into the to protect the later to protect the chicks. Species like the oriental pied hornbill, quite easy to see also, the sultan tit, the red-headed trogon, the long-tailed broadbeard, the common green magpie, the Darjeeling woodpecker, the Aegean emerald cuckoo, chestnut-winged cuckoo, chestnut-headed teshia, black-throated sunbird, dollar bird. So also there's lots of homestays who have come in the recent years, because photographers have shown beautiful pictures of the rufous-necked hornbill, and now lots of domestic travelers have come to Mahananda and to Latpanchar to see those beautiful birds. Now let's move to Lava and the adjacent Neora Valley National Park. So this Neora Valley National Park is just 40 kilometers from Kalimpong, and there is also some accommodation, very decent accommodation nearby. And it's quite famous. It's one of the favorite sites for bird watching in the whole of North Bengal, with over 100 species of birds. So among them, you can spot over there the rusty-bellied shortwing, but also the golden-breasted fulveta, the rufous-throated wren babbler, scaly-throated wren babbler, long-billed wren babbler, rufous-throated wren babbler, and also lots of different partridge, hill partridge, Himalayan kutia, silver-eared messia, broad-billed wren babbler, broad-billed warbler, sorry, blue-fronted, yellow-throated fulveta. So scarlet finch also is present in this area. So you can also spend quite a few days in this area, and the guides are quite good over there. Now we move to Singalila National Park, which is close from Darjeeling, and it's the border, the natural border with Nepal. So the Singalila is very famous for the red panda, and there's around 32 red panda recorded in the area. So of course, it's difficult to spot, but there are very good guides now, locals who have been trained as guides. And if you spend, I say, a minimum of 5-6 days over there, you're almost guaranteed to see the red panda, and you can go there all year round. Of course, the autumn will be the best, but otherwise, summertime and winter time can be also beautiful. Apart from the red panda, there's lots of other mammals that can be found here. like the Himalayan black-beard, clouded leopard, leopard cat, Himalayan serow, barking deer, yellow-throated marten, wild boar, pangolin, pika, and many other eastern Himalayan mammal species. In terms of avifauna, there's more than 300 species of birds which have been recorded, like the blood pheasant, very good spot for the blood pheasant, Satire tragopan, Kalish pheasant, both brown and fulvous parrotbill, Rufus ventiptit, Firetail mysonis, golden-breasted fulveta, many rosefinch species, bullfinches species, wren babblers, laughing thrushes, nuthatch, tree creepers, euhinas, minivet, partridges, and many more. Focus on different species, different places in Sikkim. First, will be the Barsey Rhododendron Sanctuary, which is actually adjacent to the Singalai National Park that we just discussed before. Then the Ravangla and Mainam Wildlife Sanctuary, and then we'll move on to Yuksom, Khecheopalri, and Pelling. And finally, we'll go to Lachen and Gurudongmar Lake, which unfortunately is restricted to domestic travelers only. So first, you can see the Barsey Rhododendron Sanctuary. This is a picture taken in spring, where the rhododendron are in full bloom. And in the months of September, you can see sighting of huge gathering of rose finches. So just after the monsoon. Among them, common rose finches, dark-breasted rose finch, white-browed rose finch, and even the beautiful rose finch. It is one of the easiest places for the golden and white-browed bush fir robin also. And you can also look for other species like the spotted or the black-faced or the white-throated or even the scaly and chestnut crown laughing thrush. Different species of fulvetas, spotted nutcracker, some scimitar babbler also, straight-breasted and slender-billed. Blackbird also is present, both white-collared and gray-winged blackbird. Parrotbill, brown, great, fulvous, and black-throated parrotbill. The beautiful fire-capped tit also is there. White-browed and lesser short-wing. And regarding the pheasant, there is Kalish pheasant and Satire tragopan. And you can also have some chances to see red panda, which population is quite high in the sanctuary. Now we move to Ravangla and Mainam Wildlife Sanctuary, which is towering just above 2,000 meters high and go up to 3,100 meters. So the forest is a thick oak forest. And as you climb up, you can see different species of rhododendron. The sanctuary is also very famous for the Satire tragopan, which is one of the rare species pheasant that you can find in the eastern Himalaya. But you can also spot rare species like Firetail mysonis. And also it's a very good place for the brownwood owl, which are reported even in the daytime. You can see them in some places of the forest. And in the lower part of the valley of Tashiding, it's a good spot for great sultan tit, puff-throated babbler, and straight spider hunter. In the nearby area of Pelling, Khecheopalri, and Yuksom, you will find some beautiful species. You can see this beautiful holy lake. The legends say about this lake that not a single leaf will fall on the lake, and that if it happens, one bird will come and pick it up. So it's very close from Pelling, which is about 20 kilometers from the town of Yuksom, which I was talking just before. And it's a very good place for the rusty-cheeked scimitar babbler, but also for the scaly laughing thrush, the wet-faced laucicla, Firetail mysonis, scarlet finch, but also Himalayan kutia, black-headed shrike babbler, scaly-breasted wren babbler, spotted wren babbler, and many more. And I will finally finish this presentation with Lachen and the Gurudongmar Lake, where you will mainly find high altitude species. Unfortunately, foreigners are not allowed in this area. So only domestic travelers can enjoy the beauty of the lake and above. So this area of North Sikkim, it's very dry and high altitude plateau. So you will see species like a snow pigeon, but also blood pheasants, Himalayan monal, white-throated dipper, which is a bird which is diving in very cold water to find some insects, spoked-wing grosbeck, white-winged grosbeck as well. And there has been some record of Tibetan snowcock around the lake. And there is also some species like the ground tit with his long beak to search in the ground. In terms of mammals, also you will find the kyong. So the local name is kyong, is a Tibetan wild ass, but you can also encounter Tibetan antelope, Tibetan gazelle, Himalayan serow, Tibetan argali, and even the wonderful Alaska. And there's been also some beautiful pictures recently of the Tibetan sand fox. Okay, so I think we are done. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation.